In this episode, I'm joined by Ben Kepner, entrepreneur and founder of Global Social Media Marketing. We talk about his journey from freelancing to building a company of resilience required in the early years of entrepreneurship and how tailored marketing strategies drive real business growth. Let's jump into the show. Ben, welcome.
Hi, Miki. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on the podcast today.
Thanks for your time. I'm so excited about these questions and your journey, and I'm going to jump right into the questions. Can you share a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do, and about your company?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Benjamin Kepner. I'm a two-time CEO. I'm CEO of Global Social Media Marketing, which is a digital marketing agency connected here in Denver, Colorado. And then I'm also the CEO of Sweet Courses, which is a ed tech company, primarily focused on marketing courses, but we do offer AI and business courses.
Cool. So, what inspired you to start your company, and how did you get to what you do right now?
Yeah, I think my story was kind of I started my marketing career freelancing in social media, spent some time living abroad, and then kind of bouncing in my career between sales and marketing. And then eventually moved to Colorado where I live today. And really, the story was I had moved here for like a sales job, was let go from that job my first year in Colorado, and then just kind of rebuilt my freelance portfolio. And then one day, my tax accountant said, "Hey, Benjamin, you're making more money now than you were at any of your full-time jobs. You should look at registering an LLC. It'll save you a bunch of money on taxes." So that's kind of the story of how I created my company, kind of my accountant in a survival mode, kind of making it as a marketer.
That's very interesting. That's just like because some people have like a very elaborate stories, but also I've noticed that like a lot of people, even though people think that when you're starting a company, it's like there's like a big giant plans, but it normally doesn't turn out that way. It just started sometimes accidentally or something lead into another, and then and just like you, just starting a company that way.
Yeah.
So how long has it been then since?
How
Sorry,
long
go
has
ahead.
it been? It's been the company, the brand itself, it actually started as like a blog, when I was graduating college. So I kind of had the idea of building a website, a marketing website, like a long time ago. So the brand itself is 15 years old. The actual business is going on year 8. Registered it here in Colorado.
Okay, so it's not like new thing just happened, it's just, like, already been past, like, whatever years that people say, like, I don't know, first 5 years, it's the most challenging, but you passed that point already.
Yep, definitely. I feel good about that. And yeah, I feel like the first year or two for me personally was the hardest, and then the 2020 for COVID was very difficult at that time as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I know obviously I found you from Forbes Agency Council. I don't know if you're still a member, but, have you been in different business communities, and then how did it actually help you support your growth?
Yeah, I've kind of through the years been in different like organizations and groups, either just from like a networking and connection perspective or from a volunteering perspective to be involved in the community. Yeah, I was on the Forbes Agency Council, I believe, for a little over a year. I looked at it as an opportunity really for like thought leadership to write articles. So we were writing articles directly for Forbes, and those were getting published. And overall, yeah, I mean, it was a great experience to get like reach and awareness about my company and kind of demonstrate my thought leadership within marketing. But ultimately, it didn't lead to any sales. So, one of the big sticking points for any C suite, or talking to a CEO or head of sales, right, is what is the ROI of said marketing investment or time. And so, for that opportunity specifically, it was a great opportunity, but it didn't correlate to sales. So, I'm not currently in the agency council anymore. However, I have been in other organizations since then, most notably the 4As is definitely well known in the advertising industry. It's one of the leading like advertising associations. So I've been involved with that and getting some certificates. I was also in the Founders Institute, which shout out to them and anybody that's an entrepreneur if you're looking to try to get like investing or really kind of get your bootstrap idea to like execution. And then, yeah, I've taken a number of like online academies, and recently I just joined my master's program at Purdue. So I feel like I'm going back to my college days and getting involved with higher education again.
Wow. Yeah, you're keeping yourself really busy.
I always say I'm not busy. My calendar is just full of opportunities.
That's really well said. What's the most common pain points do you see from your clients struggling with, and how do you help them? What's your competitive advantage to help them differently than other people?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, and this is probably consistent for most like marketing and advertising agencies, is number one problem my clients are generally trying to solve is more leads and sales, right? They just strictly need to move like overall revenue. They have sales quota for their companies. And so there's a number of different ways that you can do that. I think that some people are very focused on like a specific channel or specific tactic or specific strategy. I think if you're in the marketing profession, you understand there are so many different ways to make sales or leads through either, organic or paid technology, AI, all the above. And so really we try to help guide our clients in where does your audience hang out? Not every channel is going to make sense for every business or every industry. And I think a lot of people just frankly don't know where their audience is hanging out. And so that's kind of the one big things that we do kind of in our initial audit or onboarding with a client is figuring out, where does your audience hang out? What's the type of media they consume? What's the channel that makes the most sense? And I think we really kind of strive to give more customized marketing solutions instead of just, saying everybody needs to be using this specific strategy or this specific channel.
Yeah, I think that's really important because we pivot different industry as well, and then we're realizing that it's not exactly the same how you need to approach your ICPs, your potential clients, and it's like it's very different industry to industry. So I think that's probably very accurate that you need to customize it per who you're looking for exactly. So this is actually my favorite question. What would you say is the one skill that is absolutely essential for business owners, leaders, or entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think I would say number one is definitely resiliency, just because like I think there are so many things that happen in a business, whether it's like, an employee turnover or client's been lost or your website crashes or you get sick or life happens in your personal life, right? I think there are just so many factors, whether it's internal or external, that you really have to be resilient as an entrepreneur. You always have to be adaptive. You always have to be willing to pivot. And I think that, you can't be stuck in your ways. You can't just keep doing the same thing every year. I think that's the exciting thing about being an entrepreneur is that you have that control over your direction and you kind of have to bounce back when you have those challenges throughout the journey.
Do you do anything special for to keep your resiliency intact? Because like sometimes it's like you said, sometimes it's hard. How do you actually keep it, I don't know, sticking to your resilience?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me personally, when something bad happens, there's kind of like in my mind, it just it's happened so much owning a business 8 years in that I kind of take the day, right? Like I kind of receive the news, I digest it. I don't make immediate decisions based on the news that same day. I kind of let it marinate in my head. I sleep on it. I wake up the next day and then I've kind of like reflected on it. So I think like, giving yourself some time to reflect when bad things happen. Obviously, if it's something urgent, respond to it immediately. But I think having time to reflect and process things is good for just like good strategic thinking. And then I think also like when bad things happens, that's also a good opportunity to kind of lean into your support network, whether it's your friends or your family. I know for me, I have a very unique situation in which one of my best friends is my COO. So there's kind of this, he's helping me as a friend, but he's also helping me as a business colleague. So I really feel supported by him when things go wrong. And then, I think the other thing that's probably just nerdy is that, I'm going to Google all my problems. I'm going to go to ChatGPT about my problems. I'm going to kind of see what is Google and AI? And so I kind of take all those things together, and then that's what kind of helps me stay motivated and move forward.
Yeah. It's interesting that I actually started using LLMs to do some of those because someone actually mentioned about it and it's effective. I was surprised.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where can people learn more about your work and you, or how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so you can find me online by searching my name, Benjamin Kepner. Probably the best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. I have a really good network there. I'm in there daily. If you're interested in learning about more about my companies, my first company is globalsocialmediamarketing.com. And if you are interested in like talking shop or learning more about our services, there's a contact page there. Same thing, very similar setup for Sweet Courses. We have a website. It's Sweet Courses, spelled Courses. Um, and so that's another place, like if you're looking to like upskill in marketing or take some of the content that I've created through my marketing career. I think that's helped a lot of students really in getting to enjoy not always just serving clients, but just the education side of it. And I feel like sometimes that's missed a little bit in the marketing profession, just having people that are willing to kind of educate you on their experience.
That's great. And I'll actually get, I think you already sent me those links, so I'll make sure to put that on the show note so that they know where to go. All right. So,
Thank you
anything
so
else
much.
to add before we depart?
No, just wanted to say, shout out to any entrepreneur out there. Keep going. It's a journey. Enjoy the journey. Rely on your network and practice resiliency. It's definitely a fun opportunity to get to be an entrepreneur, and not everybody can do it. So kudos to those of the ones that are doing it.
Thank you so much for being on here, Ben.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.